In this week's news, we heard that La Comida may have found a short-term solution in its search for a dining hall. To discuss this topic, we've invited council members Tom DuBois and Lydia. So thanks for joining us on Behind the Headlines. Gennady, you've been following this topic, so what's the latest?
Yes, so the latest is that La Comida has been in negotiations, I guess, with a facility that's outside of immediate downtown to have a home in the near term, while Avenidas, the big nonprofit that's been providing space for it for about 4 decades now, undergoes its renovation project. And I know both Tom and Lydia have been involved in kind of dealing with both Avenidas and La Comida, kind of two of the more critical senior-serving nonprofits. And I think it would be just nice to learn a little bit more about La Comida and what they do and kind of the services they provide. And I know Lydia has been volunteering there for some time, had her first dessert last week. She was serving.
I helped scoop the first dessert.
Important clarification.
Yes, important.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about La Comida, basically what it does, why it's so important? Because we've had hundreds of seniors write petitions and things like that, talking about how critical it is. What exactly do they do?
La Comida provides hot, nutritious, balanced meals for seniors, and it is a county. It's a program that's funded by the county. And they're located in many different cities, and most of the times they're located within a city facility. In this one, ours is actually located with another organization, the Senior Center Avenidas. So it does. What they do is also not just providing the meals which seniors. It's for all different classes of seniors. So they come in and they actually socialize. They get a chance to get out. Some of the seniors actually get a chance to volunteer as well. So it keeps them nimble, it keeps them walking around, it keeps them socialized, and it really helps with their morale, and it keeps them from being isolated. So there's a lot of things that helps in this program.
How many seniors typically come in during lunch?
We typically in a day average is about 140 to 150. On certain holidays, we get over 200 that comes in, to join in.
Quite a bit, I think.
It can be quite a bit, right?
I think one point, clarification, both these groups are in a city-owned building on Bryant Street, which used to be the old fire station. So it is a city-owned property.
It's a city-owned property being divvied up by 2 nonprofits.
Right.
One of them is pretty much runs almost every program, and La Comida is basically charged with the senior nutrition. And that created this unusual dynamic in that Avenidas is now preparing to rebuild its facility at 450 Bryant, the historic Birch Clark building. And that created this tension between the 2 nonprofits. And Tom, I know you've been dealing with both of them, both of you have. What's the situation now? I mean, I know there was some arguments about whether the new Avenidas will have enough space to accommodate La Comida. You mentioned there were some bruised egos on both sides. Have things changed at all?
Well, just to go back.
What's the status?
I think, again, La Comida has been serving 140 to 200 seniors, and again, the socialization aspect's been really important. So they didn't want people to have to come in, eat quickly, and leave. Right. And so I think when the new Avenidas raised a lot of money to rehab the city-owned building, they had created. They added an extension to the back, which needed elevator space and ADA compliant space. And the way the building was designed, it made the kitchen area smaller. And so that was the source of the disagreement. I think since then, La Comida has gone out, tested the market, realized it's very hard to find a space.
And we should put also, just to interrupt, in the timeline, in December, in November-December timeframe, La Comida was actually, things have gotten so bad that La Comida was actually preparing a formal appeal of the project. Right. And it dropped it in December when they basically reached an agreement after some mediation. And it basically was like a divorce kind of thing. They agreed that La Comida is going to look for a new permanent location. Avenidas will give them some help with relocating and things like that. So it seemed in December things are pretty far apart.
There was county money for a new commercial kitchen, and I'm not sure why it was funneled through Avenidas, but there was some. I think money from the county that went through Avenidas was committed to La Comida for a new kitchen.
So since December, have things gotten?
Well, so again, I think from La Comida's perspective, they've realized how hard it is to find a kitchen available Monday through Friday for the size they need. And I think Avenidas, when you talk to them, that they're saying that it's really important for these kinds of services to be co-located. I mean, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer that the city's two senior center and its senior housing program should be in the same place.
And I know, Lydia, you made the same point that you think the two should be as close together as possible, which is not something that appears to be happening, at least in the near term. Their home, their temporary location will be somewhat far away. What do you think Avenidas can do to foster this kind of synergy that Tom said is critical?
I think, that just being open-minded and revisiting the drawing plans, the architectural plans that they had, even if it's, I don't know how their plans where it's gone since La Comida had.
Well, they've been approved by the Architectural Review Board last October.
Lydia's talking about, I think, the internal
see.
build-out.
Right.
So you wouldn't have to go for fresh reviews. It's just kind of like more how you manage the space that's already approved.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And just even if it's meaning that that La Comida operates through the kitchen that they had proposed previously, as well as a dining room, the size for capacity of about 90 to 100. That might definitely I'm sure La Comida would be able to figure out how to reset, for the next group of people coming in for lunch. I mean, we can work things out. They can definitely work things out. But first things first is to have open mind and get the two organizations to talk it through, and I think also mostly to lessen the anxiety that's in the general public right now with a lot of the seniors. They know that short-term solution might be at hand. However, there's still the long-term that they're very concerned about, and so I think that coming through this sooner than later would be a big relief.
So again, I think both organizations want to make investments and make plans. So when we talk about short-term and long-term, I think the building is going to be under construction for 15 to 18 months. Avenidas is moving into Coverly. There's no commercial kitchen at Coverly. So La Comida really needs a Santa Clara County health-approved kitchen to run out of. So they will be apart for 18 months. And then, like I said, we've all heard, I think, that there are kind of multiple options in the short term. It looks like they're very close to announcing a short-term solution.
Well, I'm at the edge of my seat. I've been hearing about this any day now.
And I think they may actually end up with two locations over time too, because I think the locations they're finding are smaller than what they want.
Yeah, I think for what La Comida, Bill Blodgett, the president of the board, basically mentioned that it's going to be at probably one location immediately, and then later on they want to find another serving location, which wouldn't have a kitchen, but they could at least bring in food from wherever the commercial kitchen is.
Lydia's been working really hard on this. We've been working on this together, but she's really taken the lead.
Here's the resident realtor.
Yeah.
I was hoping, can you tell me, Lydia, a little about what the process has been like on finding a place? Because as we know, real estate is like really hard to find in Palo Alto with the prices, especially for like a nonprofit dealing with these kinds of issues, especially when you have such a short time window. Construction is going to begin in September. What has that process been like in terms of finding a new near-term location for La Comida?
For La Comida, they've actually reached out to a lot of church groups, because they're looking at places that actually has the dining facility more important, and then also the commercial, and also a kitchen that is large enough. They did get funding from county and in order to build a kitchen if they need to. And
they don't want to build a short-term kitchen. Right?
No.
They want to build it where they're going to end up.
Long-term, right. Where they were going to end up. So they did have funding for that, and they do have some money, to retrofit some of the appliances and so forth. However, it's not very easy, things change. They have boards that they have to speak with. Each of these locations or properties, they have boards that they have to speak with and get their final yeses.
So Lydia and I, we set up some meetings with the church that was very open to it. They had multiple locations, and so again, I think the short-term solution, I hope, is in hand. And what we're really concerned about now is this long-term solution.
I'm told it's not a church that is the short-term
No,
solution.
that may be the
And-
secondary.
And yeah, we're trying to find out what the short-term solution is, and basically, La Comida has been a little mum on this because they want to get the agreement signed before they go public with it. Is there
I'm sure you can understand.
Anything you guys could say on this topic? Any hints? Like, what letter does it start with?
Hopefully you'll very soon. And again, it's a big commitment, and I think it's reasonable that they want to get everything signed.
No, yeah, totally reasonable. Has the challenge been more the cost or the area to accommodate it, or the existence of a kitchen and a dining room in the same facility? What have been like the biggest hurdles up to this point in finding a location?
It's mostly the kitchen and the dining area, but for the short term, transportation is something that they can work around. And I believe Avenidas has actually offered, that maybe there's a solution that they can work out with La Comida in terms of transportation for the short term.
Yeah, I think they committed to that as part of the December agreement. Yeah, no, that's.
Right.
But again, long term, we have a lot of senior housing downtown.
Right.
I think having a downtown location with both these organizations is important.
A lot of the lunch patrons are from Lytton Gardens and Webster House, and there's also people that come from Crescent Park and sometimes Channing House. So there are people that mostly walk and take the shuttles over.
So what we're hearing now from the long term is basically the staff of both organizations are saying that they really want both these organizations in the same place. It's the right thing to do for our seniors. The disagreement seems to be coming in between the staff and the boards, and I think we need to. They're kind of going into a mediation process, and we may need to get the boards into mediation because somebody needs to take responsibility. We can't just have staff saying, "Well, we want to do this," but our board's saying no. It's a little bit of, who's responsible and who's going to make a decision.
So what are the sticking points, though, in these disagreements you mentioned? I mean, if both sides agree, and they both told me that, the same thing, Avenida said, yeah, we're committed to keep on talking to La Comida. There might be some mediation in the future.
Yeah.
La Comida has been very adamant about the fact that it wants to be either co-located or being very close to Avenidas. So what is the basis for the disagreement nowadays?
People are not being clear. And again, they're kind of blaming their boards and saying, well, we want to do this, but our board's not on board. So again, I think that's a little bit, we just need to move beyond that. And I really think we need to hopefully come to a solution this summer. So again, the investments for the planning for building a new kitchen and having the seniors not be stressed out about what's the long-term solution. What I don't want to see is this drag on for 15 months and we're the building's about to open and there still hasn't been a decision made.
So you'd like to see like a solution this summer for the longer term home?
Yeah, no, I think that's
for the near
critical.
term. We pretty much have to have it this summer.
Yeah,
Otherwise-
right.
Right, and we don't want the program to stop, or even have a little hiatus there.
And these
Everybody's
programs,
dependent.
Avenidas was started by the city. La Comida receives funding from the city, and the city owns the building. So I think from the city's perspective, we really want to see this happen.
It's a senior program, and I'd really like to see that every component is comprised within the same organization. I look at it and I think with food is one of the more important factors for us to live, and for seniors, I think that their diet is very important. I mean, if you look at what La Comida, the site manager who manages the entire program, what she does in order to ensure that the meals are balanced so that there isn't too much salt or too much sugar or all that, it is very thought out. And we work very hard in order to ensure that the dining room is nicely put together. We have flowers that are donated, and there's always flowers on the table and it's fresh. All the volunteers make a big effort to ensure the dining room is inviting and socially active place. We have pianists and musicians that come in and volunteer their time every day to have background music going on. It's a very lovely place, and we can't have any stops in between. At least for me, I don't feel that it's beneficial to anybody to have a stop.
I mean, I don't want to equate La Comida to this CineArts movie theater, but I think we're losing a lot of these community benefits, and we really kind of need to fight to protect them. And we've had a lot of people sign petitions to keep La Comida. In kind of the same way the movie theater, the movie theater was going to move away. Kind of community got involved, and we've been able to keep it. And so I do hope kind of the community stays involved and keeps signing these petitions, and we kind of get to a solution here. But
Is there anything else you want to add? Because I think we're coming towards the end of
I have one
segment.
more
Okay.
quick question. I'm curious. I mean, you guys have both been involved in kind of trying to bridge the gap between two organizations, but on a more formal basis, what do you think the city's role should be in reaching this kind of solution? I mean, you mentioned mediation might be coming. Are you guys it? Are you guys the mediation, or
no?
What do
The city
you
owns
think?
the building, and I think we have a strong interest in senior services.
But just owning the building isn't going to make the boards of the two organizations
so
agree.
again, we're talking about professional mediators. The city is organizing professional mediators and kind of bringing the groups together.
Okay.
Naturally, we're keeping tabs on it to ensure that this program, we're looking at every level, and with the seniors being the largest population here, and the aging group is a large population in Palo Alto right now. Want to make sure that we're taking care of them as well, and not just one sector of our city or our community. They're part of the community. And if you join us for lunch one day, you'll find interesting conversations over there. They do come and discuss politics. They discuss, health things. I mean, and they do a lot of sharing. So I think, this is a sector that I don't want to have forgotten.
Hopefully, we'll reach a good resolution. in the next
Thanks
few
for
months.
joining us.
Yeah.
So that wraps up this week's Behind the Headlines. If you want to hear more, click the subscribe button below. If you want to learn more about Palo Alto news, go to paloaltoonline.com.